Hello to anybody who is here. Hello, hello. I'm just doing some logistics, making sure everything is good.
Life's too short to even care. I'm losing my mind, losing control. These fishes in the sea, they're staring at me. A wet world aches for a beat of a drum. If I could find a way to see this straight, I'd run away to some fortune that I should have found by now. I'm waiting for this zero to come Life's too short to even care. I'm coming up now, out of the blue. These zombies in the park, they're looking for my heart. A dark world aches for a splash of the sun. If I could find a way to see this straight, I'd run away to some fortune that I should have found.
Hello, how are you guys? I hope you are dancing.
I'm waiting for this zero to come down. Life's too short to even care.
It's so true. Life is too short, guys. Way too short.
Losing my mind, losing control.
Dance it out.
If I could find a way to see this straight, I'd run away to some fortune that I should have found.
Whoa. Too many songs going on. As you guys tune in, I want you to shoot me a little hello. And so what I want you to do as you tune in is, if you're on the event page, the Forgiving Fear event page with the little countdown at the top, what I want you to do is I want you to click. It's going to be in the right-hand corner of your screen, and I'm going to do a screen share and show you. So what I want you to do is go. Whoa, what is going on? I want you to go, and I want you to go. I want you to go to right down here. It's going to say, be a part of the conversation. And so I want you to click on that. And I want you to shoot me your name. And you're going to have to go to a little 4 square box, there's four little squares, and you just click on Q&A. For some reason, the chat, I don't know that the chat is working. I'm going to try it and see if it says, hello, you guys. Can you see this? We're going to do a little webinar 101 for everybody who this is their first webinar. Just because I feel like that will be helpful for you. The best life you have ever had. Who's excited to get this peace party started? I am super excited. Super excited. And I was hoping that I was going to be able to get the mountain in the background because the mountain is so beautiful today, but the lighting wasn't really working with me. So, I'm so excited that you guys are all here. We have some deep, good stuff to talk about tonight. So, I hope you are ready. Let's turn on some more upbeat tunes, and we are just gonna get the energy pumping, give everybody time to tune in. What's it gonna be? For everybody that is tuning into one of my webinars for the first time, welcome! I'm so over the moon excited that you are here. You have no idea. No idea. Like I said, I've got some really powerful stuff to share tonight. So
Guided by a beating heart, I can't tell where the journey will end, but I know where to start. They tell me
the lighting is not good. Can you see my face though? Can you hear me? I mean, not much I can do about the lighting.
Life will pass me by if I don't open up my eyes. Well, that's fine.
So just for everybody that is tuning in, as you tune in, I want you to go to the bottom left-hand corner. It's going to say click here to be a part of this hangout or like to join the conversation or something. I want you to click on that, and it's going to take you to like a full screen page where you can chat and you can send in your questions and you can do all of that good stuff. I'm not going to take questions until the end. We're going to have some set aside time for questions. But as they come up, it's totally fine if you want to shoot them in there or jot them down on a notepad. If you haven't gotten a notepad and a pen yet, I encourage you to go grab one of those in the next couple of minutes as we give everybody time to tune in. Just in case, you hear something that resonates and you want to keep it. If you think of a question, if something just suddenly comes to you and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to forget this. That happens to me all the time. So you've got a couple of minutes. I just want you to go do what you need to do. Get a glass of water, maybe some tea, whatever you are going to need.
I tried carrying the weight of the world, but I only have two hands.
You're trying to carry the weight of the world? You only got two hands, my dear. But guess what? I'm going to teach you don't only have two hands.
Wish that I could stay forever this young. Not afraid to close my eyes. Well, life's a game made for everyone.
It is a game. It's made for everyone.
And love is the prize. So wake me up when it's all over. When I'm wiser and I'm older. All this time I was finding myself and I didn't know I was lost. So wake me up.
Hello, everybody. As you tune in, I want you to click on the little 4 squares in the upper. Or first, I want you to click on the bottom left hand. It says join this conversation, and then I want you to go and click on the 4 squares in the upper right hand corner and click on Q&A and send a hello, send your name, send what brought you here, anything you want, really. And then during our little powwow tonight, you can shoot questions as they come. You can jot them down on a piece of paper, all of that sort of stuff.
When I'm wiser and I'm older, All this time I was finding myself and I didn't know I was lost.
Oh, that was such a perfect song. Oh, all right. I just want to say thank you to all of you for tuning into this tonight. You did not tune in to listen to me talk. You tuned in to remember something that you already know. So that's pretty awesome. I want to go over some super basic webinar stuff. Hi, Miley. So excited to have you. I'm going to go over some basic webinar stuff for you guys, just again, really quickly, in case you are unfamiliar with how to use Google Hangouts. I want to make sure that you are able to ask questions, send comments, all of that good stuff as you want. Again, we're going to save questions until the end. I'm not going to answer any questions to the end, but I know like sometimes you have a question that pops up and you're like, oh, I don't want to forget this. So I want you to be able to type that in. So if you haven't done so already and you are on the event page, there's a little countdown timer that probably says we're started or something like that. I don't know what it says. Maybe it's just like all zeros now. But I want you to go, and I want you to go to the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. My little face is in the box. So the bottom left-hand corner there, it says like something like join the conversation live or something like that. It's got like a little box and some text. And so I want you to click on that, and then you're going to be taken to a bigger screen. And in that bigger screen, there is a little box of 4 squares in the upper right-hand corner. And I want you to click on that. Excuse me. And I had some kombucha and it made me burpy. So then I want you to click on the Q&A, and in that Q&A, you're gonna have a little thing pop up. It says ask a question, but you can just send a comment. The chat isn't working for some reason. I don't know why, but whatever. We're gonna use the Q&A and it's gonna work just fine. So with that, again, welcome. I am so excited, so honored that you're here. This webinar is really a celebration for me. I just submitted a book proposal to Hay House. Oh my God, I just submitted a book proposal to Hay House. That's like a real truth that's coming out of my mouth. It actually happened. And I'm so excited. So everything that I'm sharing with you tonight is just, it is my passion, my truth, what I know works and has completely transformed my life. And now I'm pink. That's okay. It's completely transformed my life. And I truly am feeling like it is the missing piece in the puzzle of a lot of other people's lives and spiritual journeys and all of that. So I could not be more excited to share it. We're going to walk through what exactly radical forgiveness is, what the 6 steps of this process are of radical forgiveness, and honestly, how you can just start using them today, right now. How can you experience a deeper sense of peace, a deeper sense of freedom, more laughter, more ease, more joy, more all of that in your life, right? Can I get an amen? Doesn't that sound good? To just, walk around and walk down the street and have a smile on your face because things are freaking great. Even if somebody just yelled at you, like, whatever. It's not the end of the world, right? It's not the end of the world. So before we dive in, before we get to the meaty stuff, I want to take some time and center into this space. Be it digital, we're in a space together. And so I want to come together in that space. And yeah, so wherever you're at, I want you to just kind of settle in. Shake out your hands a little bit. Wiggle your shoulders. Just, become aware. Feel your feet on the floor, your butt in the chair. If you're sitting in a chair, maybe you're laying down. Just, bring awareness to your body. Where are you at? Let go of anything that happened earlier today. Let go of anything that's happening tomorrow. And really just come into this space. If you are sitting in a chair, placing both feet on the ground, closing your eyes, and beginning to focus on your breath. Taking nice, long, deep breaths in through your nose and gently exhaling out through your mouth. Long, deep breaths in through your nose. Gently exhaling out through your mouth. And I want you to begin to bring into your awareness what it is that brought you here tonight. What piqued your curiosity? What are you ready to let go of? And where are you ready to go? You're here because you're ready to step into a new version of you. A new version of you that's freer, that's lighter, that's happier, that's more joyful, and that's ready to just show up and do it. To do this thing we call life, to have the experience of life, to have the experience that you've been waiting for. That experience that is going to make it finally feel real. That experience that's going to make it finally feel worth it. That experience where you stand and say, I get it. I get what it was all for. I get it. So I want you to keep that focus on your breath. Long, deep inhales through your nose. Letting them linger in your body for a minute. And exhaling them out through your mouth. Feel free to sing along if you'd like. The words are Ad Gure Name. Sat Gure Name. Sri Guru Deve Name. Ad Gure Name. Jugat Gure Name. Sat Gure Name. Sri Guru Deve Name. Begin to focus that breath on your heart. Breathing in a beautiful warm light to that space. Maybe reaching up and placing your hand over your heart. And as you exhale, bringing that light out into a bubble surrounding you. We ask that all of our guides, all of our teachers, all of our loved ones be here with us this evening as we bring more joy, more laughter, more ease into our lives. We ask that we set aside our egos, we set aside our limiting beliefs, we set aside our fears, so that we can remember what we're really here to do. So that we can remember that we're already healed. So that we can remember that in every moment we have the power to choose our experience. We have the power to choose love. Guru Devi Name. Ad Gure Name. If you'd like to repeat after me in this next few lines, please do. I am responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience, and I decide upon the goal I would achieve. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as I have asked. Taking another nice deep breath into that heart space, filling it up with a beautiful golden warm light. Feeling your shoulders relax, your jaw relax, your day melt away. And exhaling that ease, that light, that warmth into a blanket around you. Bringing your awareness back to your toes, wiggling your fingers, opening your eyes, and welcome again. Oh, so who am I? Who is this girl that is teaching you tonight about radical forgiveness? How did she learn about this? Why is she teaching this? All of those questions. Well, my name is Sarah Miller, and I really am, my function on this earth is to teach people forgiveness. I started out as an actor. I decided that I really enjoyed being on stage. I really enjoyed being able to experience emotions and experience being present with other people in a way that I didn't know how to do in real life. I mean, obviously I had friends and I did things and I enjoyed my life, but there was always this disconnect between me and the people around me. And I didn't know how to let go of that. I always felt like an outsider. Even with my friends, I felt like a little bit of an outsider. And I always felt like there was something that I didn't quite get about life. And so on stage that disappeared. And I was enamored by it. I wanted that. I craved that. And I decided, yeah, I want to do this. I want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to make this my career. So I went to acting school. And I didn't realize it at the time, but what I was really doing was therapy. I was making being on stage a very cathartic thing. I was using it as my outlet. I was using it as my creative expression. And so I remember I was walking to an audition one day and I just realized, this has served me so much, but there's been this little voice in the back of my head since I was like 5 telling me that I need to do something bigger in this world using my voice, using my own story, not using the stories of other people, not using the words of other people, but using my own. And so I listened to that, and midway to this audition, it was a callback, and I was probably going to get the role, but I turned around and I got on the train and I took my power back, because for so long I was putting my creative outlet and my experience in other people's hands. And that moment I stopped and I said, no more. And I didn't realize it at that moment, obviously, thinking this is all retrospective that I'm realizing it. In that moment, I just decided, no, I don't want to do this anymore. It's too stressful. But really, that was the moment that I decided, no, it's time for me to own my own power. It's time for me to live my life on my terms and not put it in the hands of other people. And so I began to go inward. For my entire life, I'd been really, like I said, disconnected. And there was a part of me that felt just out of place. I felt like I had to be this silent warrior carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders at all times. I felt like I just needed to live in this darkness, no matter how much light was around me, no matter how much experience I had. There was always something more I had to prove. There was always something more I had to be. I was never good enough. I was like this like secret warrior hanging onto the super heavy shield, walking around the world. And that heavy shield that I was hanging on to was shame, was guilt, was anxiety, was depression, was stress, was loneliness, was a fear of being dependent on other people. I was so out of touch with myself, my higher self, my actual my world-based self. I was just so out of touch with that I was really just in this numb place. I was in this numb place, and I was numb. I wasn't allowing myself to really honor what I'd been through, honor the journey that I had taken up to where I was at in my life, right? I was living in the middle of New York City, and I was surrounding myself with so much noise so I could hide from the noise that was in my head, that noise of growing up in a really rocky situation, a really noisy environment, growing up in an environment where there was a lot of fear, and where there was just a lot of energetic noise, and growing up with a superwoman showing me that there was hope, but still not fully understanding the fact that the guy that was supposed to be my Superman wasn't, that he was gone, and that he was gone to a place that meant that he was bad. He was gone to a prison, and that wasn't something that I really allowed myself to deal with. And so I'd always written letters to people in my life. I'd always journaled to people in the future, like thousands of years in the future. I would journal to these people, and I thought that I was going to, like, my journals were going to be saved, and that they were going to be dug up in like thousands of years, and that I was going to like tell people what it was like to live in my time. So I would write letters to these people, and I would write letters to people that I couldn't talk to. There was just this really heavy weight around my speaking and my voice, and I didn't feel like it was okay for me to share my feelings, and I didn't feel like it was okay for me to share my truth. I didn't feel like it was okay for me to share my experience, and not in a way that I didn't feel like I could talk about my life. I mean, I did. I talked about my life, and I talked to my friends, and I had great conversations with them, but there was always this wall of reserve. There was a part of myself that I wouldn't allow myself to talk about because I didn't think that it was valid. I didn't think that I was allowed to have negative feelings. I didn't think that I was allowed to talk about those feelings, right? I thought that I just had to stuff them down, and to keep stuffing them down and stuffing them down and stuffing them down. And after a little bit of time, it was like, whoa, there's no more space to stuff things. And so I had to start cleaning them out, right? But yeah, so I'd always written letters, and I was living in New York City, and I started writing letters more often, and I started writing them to that Superman that really disappointed me. I started really allowing myself to get super angry and ask, why did you do the things that you did? Why did you make the choices that you made? Why did you do that to me? What did I deserve to do that? I wrote letters to God. I got really, really, really angry at God and said, why, God? Why is this my life? Why did you give this to me? When is there going to be a break? When am I gonna have that sense of belonging? When are things going to be easy for me? And then there was another set of letters that I was writing simultaneous to this that were a little more lighthearted. I found out when I was in 10th grade, I think, that my Superman that disappointed me, my dad that disappointed me, was not actually my biological dad, that I had another dad wandering around the earth somewhere. And so that was really during a time when I wasn't allowing myself to feel a lot. That was kind of my fairy tale that I let myself escape into. So I started writing letters to this dad, and started, wondering about his life. And I had this picture in my mind that he lived on this lake, and that it was so beautiful, and that someday I would get invited over and we would have picnics in the summer and just have these endless conversations about life and philosophy, and I would just feel that sense of belonging, that sense of peace, that sense of, oh my gosh, I'm not a total weirdo for just wanting to sit and like philosophize all day. Nobody else in my life gets this, but I finally found like my reason. Like I feel explained. I care so much, and so I would have these fantasies with these letters. And I was writing a letter one day and I realized, wow, writing this letter, I'm actually feeling all of these things. I feel like I belong. I feel relief. And that was really the moment that my entire journey, I think, of radical forgiveness kind of it sped up. It sped up, and I was guided to teachers, and I was guided to resources and books, and so many things that really helped me to realize, oh, I have all the answers I've been looking for all of these years, because I've been hanging on to these dark feelings. I've been hanging on to these weights of fear, of anxiety, of stress, because I feel like it's my responsibility to, in some way, get rid of them for other people, right? I have to carry them to my end of my life so I can dispose of them for other people. And I finally started to realize that I was looking for answers in these other people that I was probably never going to get. I was probably never going to get answers from that dad that completely disappointed me that I wanted, right? I might get answers from him, but they probably wouldn't be the ones that I wanted. And so I realized in writing letters that, I could give myself the answers that I wanted, and I had the answers that I wanted, right? So I did, and I remember one day I wrote the final letter to him, that I just realized he was my greatest teacher. That I had gotten that dad because I was being shown what love was. I was being shown that in the greater scheme of things, because I had come to realize there were two voices in my head, the voice of fear and the voice of love. The same was true for him, right? He had a voice of fear and he had a voice of love. And that voice of love in him was always guiding me home, and still to this day is guiding me home, because at the end of the day, my dad is the universe, God, homeboy, Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, source, energy, the mountains, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so that was in a nutshell my experience with forgiveness. And as I've been on that experience, I've journaled a lot. Journaling has been a big thing for me, and letter writing. I was actually, in my book proposal that I submitted, I went through and kind of thought about all of the different letters that I've written in my life. And it's funny, I've written letters to new owners of houses, and I've written letters to men in my life. Oh my God, I have written some letters to some men in my life. Those poor men. I have written letters to money. I've written letters to strangers that completely took my piece on the street one day and said, why did you do that? But it's just such a transformative process. And there's something behind it. I think that there's really 6 steps to this process of radical forgiveness that I think happens through letter writing, right? That's the means. Letter writing is truly the means that I'm going to teach you tonight through these 6 steps. And so I'm gonna blend my experience with acting, with storytelling, letter writing, and then a little bit of philosophy and teachings from a text called A Course in Miracles, which, if you are not familiar with it, I'll be sending you a link to it in case you want to check it out a little bit more. But it's this book right here. It's called A Course in Miracles, and it's great. It really is what helped me learn about those 2 voices of love and of fear. So let's dive into radical forgiveness. Let's get this peace party started. started, because I'm sure you're like, okay, your story is great, but I want to know how I can start feeling this peace too, right? I want to know how I can dance down the street every day, how I can really just freaking love my life. How can I have that experience of freedom, that experience of release, that experience of healing, that experience of being able to just be, right? So there's really 6 phases of radical forgiveness. But first, I want to touch on what exactly radical forgiveness is, and what it's not. So radical forgiveness is not letting go. I say that because in my experience with forgiveness, I've tried it a lot. I've tried to forgive many, 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 many times in my life. When I am told to let something go, I feel like I'm giving my power away, right? I feel like it's almost like we're being asked to discredit the fact that we experienced something when we're letting it go. So radical forgiveness is not an act of letting go. What it is an act of is releasing the feelings of pain, releasing the feelings that are taking away our peace around a certain story, around a certain experience. So when we're radically forgiving, we're simply releasing the pain. And then coming back to the love that is within that experience, the lesson that's in that experience, right? What was that lesson there to teach us? What was that experience there to teach us? What was that person there to teach us? Radical forgiveness is not being walked all over. I had that experience too. I let employers walk all over me. I let strangers on the street walk all over me. I let rats in the subway walk all over me. Like, I remember one day I was not having the best day, and I was standing in the subway station, and this rat with no tail, I remember his tail was gone, and he was so creepy and gross. This rat came up and started chasing me, and I was like walking down the platform, and he was still following me, and I was so just like in a space of, oh, my life is too much. I was so in that space that this rat like made me start crying on the train. I was like, the world is out to get me. But I need to forgive the rat, but I can't forgive the rat. But it was really not about the rat, right? But so I think sometimes we can get this idea about forgiveness, about radical forgiveness, that we need to in some way allow ourselves to be walked over, that we need to say, it's fine, I'm going to be the bigger person, I'm going to forgive them. No, you're not. What you're going to do is you're going to own that the part of them that is acting, that is taking away your peace, is somehow based in fear, and that it's triggering something fear-based in you. And so you get curious about that, and you say, okay, I'm going to take my power back in this situation, my power, which is love. I'm going to tune in to that part of myself that is observing all of this and see what's going on. So it's not letting go. It's not being walked all over. And what it really truly is coming to an understanding that fear is never going anywhere, right? As long as we're in this world, as long as we're having this experience on this earth, we are going to have some fears. And fears are really our best friend, right? Because they show us where the good stuff is. I like to use the analogy of fear as a door. So we're walking through this hallway, and this hallway has doors all around us, and fear has been given this role of walking us down the hallway and leading us to certain doors. Love has said, fear, please lead so-and-so down this hallway. Please lead them. And fear's like, I really don't want to do this job because I know once they walk through the door, I'm going to be bored again and have nobody to hang out with. And so like, I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to like, let this person chill in darkness for a little bit. And I'm not going to help them out. If they ask any questions, yeah, whatever. So fear is like a very just unenthusiastic employee of love, right? And so we've got all of these doors along our hallway. And when we practice the art of forgiveness, we take a look at fear and we say, you know what? Thank you so much for leading me to this door. I am so appreciative. I got this. You don't need to turn the handle for me. I don't have any, whatever. You don't need to turn the handle. No concierge service needed. I got this. I'm gonna I'm going to turn the handle and I'm going to go. And you know what? I know that you're probably going to be lonely here by yourself. So you can come with me. I'm going to invite you along for the ride. And we really come to have this relationship with fear where we're very compassionate towards it. We're very compassionate towards it, and we're just curious about it, right? We're curious about it. We're curious about where it comes from. We honor that it doesn't want to disappear, right? Fear wants all of those same feelings that we want. It knows that it's impermanent. It knows that it's eventually not going to be there. And so in our lives, fear is really trying to have that same experience that we are, right? It's trying to have that experience of worthiness. It's trying to have that experience of validation. It's trying to have that experience of freedom. It wants to know that it's not impermanent, that it's not going anywhere. But here's the thing, it is, right? Because at the end of the day, the voice of love, who we are, that essence of what created us, is the only thing that's real. And so at some point in time, fear is gonna not be able to come along for the journey, right? But forgiving fear, practicing radical forgiveness, is really that idea that when we can give our fears those same feelings that they're asking us for, right? Those same feelings that are on that other side of the door. When we can give those to fear, when we can say, you know what? I want you to come along for the ride because you are so awesome and so worthy, and you've shown me so much. You took me down this hallway. Thank you. I'm going to let you come along for the ride. The entire experience of our lives changes. And so how we can start doing this, right? How do we do this? What does this mean? So we start with our past, because in reality, everything that we are looking at, we are portraying some aspect of our past on, right? Like, you're looking at me, and depending on whether you know me or whether you've not met me yet, you have some story with your experience in webinars, with your experience in forgiveness, with your experience in whatever, in spirituality. You've got a story. And so that story is tailoring your experience here, right? When you go to the grocery store, you have foods that you like and that you don't like, right? That's all a story in your past. What if you just let that all go, right? So these are obviously very small things, but then we get into things like relationships, and we get into things like our relationship with our body. We get into things like careers and all of that stuff where these feelings of fear really come up. And so we begin to work with those fears and get curious about those fears by first getting clear on what our story is. Right? What is the story that we've been through? What is it that what is that has gotten us to this moment? And then we take a look at, okay, so this is my story. What are the feelings that I've got attached with this story? What are the feelings that, like, what are my chapters of feelings, and how do they cycle themselves around? And where did these feelings come from? And so getting really clear with ourselves on who it is that we are walking around this earth, where we came from, what we've got in our suitcase, what we've got to draw from. And so once we've taken a look at that, which is a very not ethereal, I don't know the word I'm looking for. It all lives in our mind, right? That's all stuff that lives in our mind. So then we take a look at our bodies. We take a look at our bodies and we say, okay, where has my body been? My body functions, I breathe without asking myself to breathe. My heart beats without me asking it to beat. My blood pumps through my body. My brain works. I can raise my hand. I can blink my eye. I can do all of these things, and I don't really have to think about them. They're just second nature. What am I doing? Because if we acknowledge that thing that created us is also creating the world around us, we get curious now about, okay, if I can do all of these things that I need my body to do, if it just does these things for me, and if if that thing that created me and enabled me to have this body that does all of these things for me also created the world around me, what am I hanging on to from my past that is not enabling me to have that same direct experience with the world around me, right? Like, what is it that is causing me to not be able to have the experiences that I want in the world, right? How can I use my body? How can I take a look at my body? Maybe the health of my body is showing me something. Um, what can I do in order to take a look at that past and say, okay, where am I like stopping things from happening just naturally? What's going on? And so we take a look at our bodies, we take a look at how we're treating our bodies. Sometimes we can be so harsh on our bodies and it can tend to reflect our experience with the world. I know I used to be so hard on myself in my body. I would go to yoga like 7 times a week and like abuse myself with it. It was like if I didn't go to yoga, I was not worth walking on this planet. And like I thought it was like this great self-care routine. It was like, yeah, I'm a yogi and yeah. But I was actually just using it to abuse myself. I compared myself to everyone around me. And then on the same end of that spectrum, I mean, I've been through periods of time where I was really just so disconnected from my body that I didn't take care of it whatsoever. And it was crying out to me like, hey girl, can you like give me some love, please? And I always know like when I start to feel really exhausted, when I start to feel jittery, when I start to feel really foggy in my brain, or like when my skin gets really dry or my skin starts to break out, I always can say, oh, something is going on. I'm hanging on to an old story because this isn't supposed to happen, right? So getting curious about our bodies, getting curious about what in our bodies we're hanging on to old stories, right? So something for me, I've always had really bad stomach problems. And one day I realized this is just a story that I'm telling myself. And this story is coming from another story, right? It's coming from a story that I'm not worth having just an easy life. Everything else in my life is kind of working itself out, but I still am finding an outlet for things to be hard. I'm giving myself stomach problems. Like, what the hell, Sarah? Just stop. And so I started a process of forgiving my body for betraying me, right? In some way. And in that process of betraying my body, or forgiving my body for betraying me, forgiving myself for thinking my body would ever betray me, right? Forgiving myself for betraying myself, betraying ease, betraying what I'm here to do, right? So then we get curious about our bodies, and then we look at how our past and our relationship with our bodies are affecting our relationships with other people, right? Because other people are truly our mirrors in this world. When we look at another person, we are being mirrored back ourselves. And I think if you've ever gone into a situation and you're totally lighthearted and excited and you're excited to be with that person, generally the situation goes really, really well because you bring that positive energy. Whereas if you go into a situation and you've got like all of this heavy baggage behind you, like all of these thoughts of fear and anxiety and all of that, it's generally not a pleasurable experience. And I know I definitely can speak to that. I've had times where I've had to go in and do things like ask for a raise. And within the context of those situations, I've held on to so much, like, I'm not worthy, this person isn't paying me, I'm so paying me enough, I'm so angry, all of that. And so I take all of that anger, I take all of that weight into the conversation with me, and it ends up being the most miserable thing on earth, right? Whereas if I would just forgive myself first and foremost and say, you know what? It's possible that me not getting a raise at this job is just directing me elsewhere. I'm going to go in there, know that I'm worth what I'm asking for, and just have fun, right? Not make this such a big deal. So practicing that act of radical forgiveness there, siding that with that voice of myself, that side of myself that knows I'm worthy, that knows I I am worthy of whatever it is I desire, and going in with that voice rather than that voice telling me you're not worthy of that. How dare you ask for that? How dare you want more? How dare you X, Y, Z? I could go on for hours, right? And then also just getting curious, with our partners, with our friends, all of that. When anything comes up, what is it teaching us, right? The people around us are our guides. They are our teachers. First and foremost, people on this earth are our teachers, every single person. And so we begin to get curious about, what is this person teaching me? Even if it is the person that is like bagging our bananas, what are they teaching me right now? Are they teaching me the process of giving and receiving, the process of helping another person out? Are they teaching me patience? Maybe they're going really slow and they're teaching you patience. Who knows? But just beginning to look at, how is my past story? How is my relationship with my body disabling me from coming into the truth that every single person is here to teach me and remind me of love? Every single person is here to teach me and to remind me of love in some way. So then from that place, we have to acknowledge that all of this is happening in our mind, right? We have the world, the experience of the world around us. We've got like the very physical things that we're seeing, but then our experience of it is happening in our mind. And so something that's so important is to start to figure out what feelings are coming from love and what feelings are coming from fear, what stories are coming from love and what's coming from fear, and getting really intimate with those two voices. And in any given situation, saying, okay, is this situation being fueled in some way by fear? And how can I, in my mind, not necessarily outwardly, always, it's going to be on just a very mental level, how can I begin to let go of this fear? And an analogy that I like to use is the analogy of our houses, right? So our mind is like our spiritual house, our house on this earth, where we store all of the good things and the bad things and just everything, right? We store it all in our mind. And just like when we have an apartment on this earth, we have to do some cleaning now and again, right? Probably more often than not. We have to do cleaning in our mind. And when we do that cleaning, we've got some choices. We've got some choices where we can either get like super down and dirty and make sure we get all of the dirt, all of the scum, all of the dust bunnies, everything. We get it all. Right? We clean it all up. We put on the gloves. We get out the bucket. We wear the good, disgusting clothes, probably sweat a little, and we really get things sparkling clean. And afterwards, we're like, yeah, that was so good. I feel so much better in this space. It's so much cleaner. It's so much freer. It's so much lighter, right? So we can do that. We can just kind of like tidy things up, not really scrub or anything, but just do a nice tidy. And I think it feels good afterwards, but we're still like, oh, I need to do that. Like I'll do that next week, whatever. And then there's the option where we just kind of like throw things in closets and like underneath rugs, and we just are like, well, I'm just not gonna open the doors. That's fine. I just won't open the doors. I'll just shove it all in there and not open the door. So we've got those choices, and we've got those choices when we deal with fear, right? We've got those choices where we can kind of just like shove it in a closet, say, I'm not going to deal with it. I'm just going to let it hang. It'll figure stuff out. And we've got that choice where we can just kind of like tidy up, or we've got that choice where we can really get down and do some deep cleaning. And so chances are, if you are here on this webinar and curious about radical forgiveness, you're ready to get down and do that deep cleaning, right? You're ready to go into all of the cracks and all of the corners and say, okay, what is keeping me from peace? What is keeping me from peace? How can I demystify it? How can I really have this experience that everybody else seems to be having that for some reason I'm not, right? How can I just be that girl that walks down the street like on her headphones laughing and dancing? How can I be that girl that gets what she always wants? Or that guy. I know we've got a couple of guys tuned in tonight. How can I be that girl or that guy? How can I be that person? How can I be that person that is so unapologetic? How can I be that person that makes bold choices, that isn't scared, that just freaking does things, right? They take the chances, they go on the trips, they make the bold decisions, they do whatever it is, that you want to do, that you dream about doing, but you say, oh, that's just, I don't know, someday maybe, right? How can you be the person that doesn't take that someday maybe approach to anything in their life? They say, no, now. Right now I'm going to do that. So we start with cleaning out the clutter, right? It's like moving apartments, right? So when we do start to do that deep cleaning and demystifying and getting clear on our past, getting clear on what our relationship with our body is, right? Like getting clear on our relationships with other people and how our past is affecting our interactions with them, what feelings, what stories we're clinging onto and playing out in our relationships. When we get clear on all of that, and then we get clear on, okay, it's totally hanging out in my head still. How can I start to clear it out? And what we're going to do then is we're going to move apartments. We're not just going to clean. We're going to completely move apartments, and we're going to go through all of the mementos. We're going to go through all of everything, and we're going to pack all the stuff that we want to keep, right? We're going to pack all of the power that we've taken from our past. We're going to pack all of the strength, all of the determination, all of the passion, all of the fuel, all of the connection, all of the good stuff that we really want to keep, all of the stuff that makes us go, yeah, I did that. Yes, I felt that. Yes, I had that experience. All of that stuff that makes us feel really good, we're going to pack it in a box, put it on our moving truck, and we're going to head on over and we're going to go into that space of love. We're going to move in with the space of love. And chances are that voice of fear is going to come knocking on our door, and it's going to want to say, hey, I really miss you. Can I come in and visit for a little bit? And we're going to be confronted with that experience of, I love you. I think you're great. And we're gonna have that moment of pause of, do I let this back into my life? How, like, especially with a friend, we always have those experiences of, I don't know, I love you and I want to be here for you, but at the same time I want to protect myself. I've found something so great without you. I don't know that I can have this same experience with you. And so we have to learn how we shut that door on fear very lovingly, right? And it's a process. It's a very, very, very personal process for every single person. It's different. And so then we've gotten clear on the fact that we're moving. So we move in with that voice of love, and we begin to work with that new space. Begin to work with that new space in order to create the life that we want. And so I talked about letter writing to heal ourselves from the past, right? To have those conversations that we're waiting for. It's the same as manifesting. If you're familiar with the process of manifesting, right? What we're doing is we're asking for something in our lives, be it money, be it a car, be it a house, be it a job, be it a relationship, vacation, whatever it is that you want to manifest. There's this process that you can go through. And like, I've manifested some pretty awesome stuff in my life. I manifested a summer in a cottage being Belle. I've manifested cruises going up the coast of Alaska with a publishing company that I want to publish books with. Like, I've gotten pretty good at the manifesting thing. And I was thinking, like, what is it that I'm actually manifesting? Because I think that there's something more. And so I was thinking about it, and then also just, miraculous teachers wandering into my life. At the end of the day, the only thing we're ever manifesting is a feeling, right? We are all we ever want when we're looking for material things is a feeling. And so we want the car, but we really just want to feel that sense of safety. We want to feel that sense of luxury, of pleasure, of, yes, this is my car, of worthiness, right? Of social, of like social acceptance and like revere. We want to feel that sense of like of royalty almost, right? When we ask for these things, when we dream really big. And so once we've moved into that space of love, the most powerful thing we can then do is get clear on where we want to go, right? What's our biggest, wildest dream? Where is it that when we think about, we're like, oh, that would be so amazing. And then obviously the voice of fear knocks on the door and says, hey, stop thinking about that. Can you please come pay attention to me? And then so we start to second guess ourselves, right? We say, well, but maybe in XYZ. So what we want to do is we want to get clear on those moments that fear knocks on the door. We want to get clear on those moments and see what it says, right? See what it says. See what the excuse is that it's telling us that we can't keep like dreaming about that are, right? So is it that we don't have enough money? We don't have enough time. We don't have enough this. We don't have enough that. And we say, okay, I acknowledge that, but I also know that I don't believe that anymore. That's not what I'm going to hold on to. And so this is my favorite part of radical forgiveness. And this is why it is so radical. So then we write letters to the people in our lives in the future that are going to give us those things that we're asking for. So say we want to publish a book. We write a letter to the person that is going to give us that book deal and we thank them. We say, oh my God, thank you so much for taking a chance on me for publishing my book. I am so excited to be an author at your publishing house. I cannot wait. Say we want to manifest a vacation. We write a letter to a person that we're going to visit while we're there or a place that we're going to visit. We say, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that I was able to come and have this experience at your bed and breakfast or, whatever. You got to get really specific here, right? You have to tell the universe what you want and get really specific and say, I'm so grateful. This is amazing, right? And celebrate, right? The voice of fear, the ego wants to step in and tell us that we're not allowed to celebrate things that haven't already happened, right? That we need to see it in order to believe that it's real, that we need to have it happen in order to believe that we're worthy of it. Well, if we held on to that idea, if we held on to the fact that it had to happen in order for us to believe it, all we're going to do is just perpetuate that cycle of fear, right? Because chances are everything that's happened in our past or most things that have happened in our past have left us with some sort of limiting self-belief, right? And even, just the idea that a body is all we are, that's a limiting self-belief. And so we dismiss that voice and we say, you know what? No, I am going to experience it in order to create it. I'm going to experience it in order to create it. So I can work backwards. So I can say, okay, that's where I'm going. Yeah, I can get there. I was just there. I know it's possible. Now, what do I need to do in order to get there? How can I work backwards and say, okay, now I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Right. And that is radical forgiveness. Your mind is, I was talking really fast because I wanted to get that all in, and we're going to go a little over an hour. I had a feeling this would happen. I just I'm so excited you are all here and I have so much to share with you. I really just kind of broke the iceberg on all of that. And I just, yeah, because there's so much good stuff. And I want to open it up to questions to you guys to see what questions you have. If there's anything that I didn't talk about or anything that was unclear, if you want to share and want me to share an example on anything, I really, really, really want to be able to do that for you right now. And before I open it up to questions, I want you guys to go, and I'm guessing you're on your computer. If you're not on your computer, you can probably do it on your phone. I want you to go up to those little 4 boxes again and go to the showcase. It's like the little tickets, the little golden tickets. And I want you, there should be a little thing that has popped up that says forgiving fear. and I'll give it a couple of seconds to pop up. But I want you to click on that link. And I am so excited. I just like, I have so much to share around this process of forgiving fear. I mean, I'm writing an entire book about it. But I really just, I felt called to create a live experience, to walk people through this process, to be your spiritual running buddy. Because I know that for me, one of the most transformative aspects of my journey is really having those spiritual running buddies, having that person there that I can text and say, oh my God, my ego is telling me this, my ego is telling me that. What do I do? I don't know. Like, I don't even know if this is my ego. Is this ego? Is this spirit? Is this, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. How do I deal with this, right? Having that person to really like bring you back to center and say, okay, whew, take a deep breath, girl. Here's what's going on. So I created this live group coaching, 6 weeks of radical forgiveness for the super warrior woman soul. And I know that if you are here right now, you are a super warrior woman or man soul. You have been through some life, and you get it. You get that there's more, and you're ready to welcome in that more. You feel that energy shifting right now. You feel that energy shifting and the scale tipping toward that side of, no, I'm tired of this bullshit. I'm tired of playing around with these old patterns. I'm tired of waiting for my life. I'm tired of waiting to do the things that I want to do. I'm tired of just being so bold and so unapologetic in my desires and my wants and my needs. And so what we're going to do in this live group coaching experiences, we're really going to walk together through those six steps that I just walked you through: the past, the body, relationships, the mind, the spirit, and the future. And we are going to dive really freaking deep. You are going to do that work of getting so clear on what your past is, what the feelings are associated with your past, how you're playing those out in your relationships, how you're playing those out in your body, what that is looking like in your mind, cleaning up your mind, doing that deep cleaning, moving into that space of love and creating the life that you frickin' want. And I am going to be there holding your hand, cheering you on as your biggest frickin' cheerleader. Like, you will not have a bigger cheerleader on this earth other, like, I am so, like, just being here tonight, you are taking such a huge step, even if you don't realize it, right? Even if you're on this journey, just showing up for that part of ourselves that knows that there's something more, knows that there's something deeper, knows that those stories of fear are so impermanent, and it's time to let them go, right? It's time to forgive them. We can live alongside them. They can come along in the back seat sometimes, but they're not going to take the driver's seat anymore. So we're going to walk through that entire experience. And at the end of the day, I really have nothing to teach you, right? All I'm doing is bringing an awareness back to what you already know. You already know everything that I just shared with you tonight. You do. You absolutely do. You already know every single thing that I just shared with you tonight. And I mean, you might not have known my personal story, but aside from that, like, all of the truths, all of this process, everything about it, you already know this process. You already know where it is that you want to be. You know all of that, and you know how to get there. But sometimes that voice of fear can be so loud, right? Sometimes we can be so lost in that noise that we really do need that spiritual running buddy to remind us where we're going and remind us, yes, this is why I'm showing up, right? Because it can be like, when we're moving out, there's those times when we're like, fuck, I just don't want to pack these boxes anymore. Can't I just stay here? Like, this is hard, and I just don't want to do that, right? I think we've all had that experience of some sort, whether with moving or with something else, right? But it can be a challenge. And so I think it's so important to have those people in our lives that cheer us on regardless of that. So I am hosting this 6-week experience. It's starting on March 8th, and I have 15 spots open. I have 15 spots open for 15 beautiful souls that want to join me. And each week we are going to have a live 70-minute group coaching call. We're going to meditate a little bit. Then we're going to dive into some some teaching, and then we're going to have a conversation. You are going to tell me what's going on. I'm going to tell you straight up, like, you're listening to the voice of fear, you're listening to the voice of love. And we're really, really, really going to feed off of that collective energy that happens when groups of people come together and unite under this desire for something more, something deeper, and create those radical shifts, right? If you've ever been to like a big concert, a big meditation, a big yoga class, anything, there's just this electric energy that happens when everybody comes together under this desire for a common experience of stepping outside of limitations. And so every week we're going to have a 75-minute call where we do that, where we step outside that limitation that we place upon ourselves. And then after the call, you're going to have homework, right? You're going to have soul work. You're going to have stuff that you're going to be actively working on, because once just having awareness for 75 minutes a week is great, but it's not enough if we really, really, really want to do that digging. So you're going to have awareness. I'm going to hold you accountable for it. I'm going to check in with you, and I'm going to say, hey, what's going on? What's coming up? What is this work bringing up? Are you avoiding this work? Why? Go through all of that with you and just really hold you accountable for the healed person, the whole person, the unapologetic, the bold, the beautiful, the incredible person that you are, and not let you shy away from that, because you're worth more than that. You are. And I'm also going to be open for email coaching night and day, Monday through Friday. Obviously I sleep and do a couple of other things, but you will have unlimited email support with me, and we're going to have a private Facebook group so we can really work through this experience of releasing together, work through this experience of forgiving on such a deep level together. And like I said, there's just something that happens with a group of people that's so transformative and so powerful. So we're going to do that. And obviously, I'm going to be sharing all of my favorite tools, all of my favorite resources. Letter writing is one of the big ones for that. And so what I want you guys to do actually today, I'm giving you some homework right now. Regardless of whether this course is for you, enrollment is open now, and it's going to be open until the 22nd. It's going to be open to 15 people. So it'll be open to the 22nd or until 15 beautiful, incredible, radiant warrior woman souls, or men, warrior woman or men souls, say, yeah, I'm ready to go a little bit bigger right now. I'm ready to go a little bit farther into joy, into love, into peace, into bold, unapologetic pleasure, luxury, excitement, and ease in my life. That's what I'm ready for. So if that's something you're interested in, you've got until February 22nd to sign up. Or until 15 people sign up. So if it's something that you really, really are feeling called to do, I encourage you to sign up sooner rather than later, because I don't want your spot to go missing. And I've made it really, really affordable and really easy, because I want to make this something that you're able to experience. And there's 2 payment options if you want to do a payment plan, or you just want to pay up all at one time. That's totally an option for you. And if you have any questions about that, obviously, please feel free to email me. You have my email. So just hit respond to one of those emails that I sent you, and I would be happy to talk with you more about it if you're kind of on the fence about it. But yes, so Q&A, I want to take your Q's and give you some A's. So type them over in the box if you've got any questions. I'm gonna get some water. Yeah, I want to answer your questions. What are your questions? What's going on in your head? There's probably that voice saying, yeah, this is all great, but, so what's that but? What's going on? What's going on upstairs? Tell me. And again, I'm so excited that you guys are here tonight, are on this earth. You're amazing. And I love you. You're amazing. I think one of the common questions that I get, I'll just start us off with a question. One of the common questions that I often get is, well, I'm scared to be happy because I don't want to be complacent. It's a big big thing that I hear is, what's the difference between happiness and complacency? Like, I'm scared of being complacent. That's my biggest fear in life. So the way that I always like to answer that question is using the analogy that you are in a car and you're sitting at a light, and the light has been red, and all of a sudden the light turns green. And you don't have any plans on where you want to go. You are just kind of out driving around. And complacency would be saying, you know what? I mean, it's really beautiful outside and I'm enjoying this drive, but I don't really have anywhere to go. So I might as well just like go home and sit on my couch. That's complacency. Happiness is taking that opportunity and saying, you know what? I can go anywhere right now. I can just like go and have a super, super, super fun experience. And I don't know where it's going to lead me, but I'm excited to go. And so I'm going to take these turns and I'm just going to go down these streets and see what's going on. See what's going on, see what's happening, and take these twists and turns. And that's the difference between happiness and complacency. When we come to that place of happiness, it's not like we stop doing things. Actually, I think it's quite the opposite, right? Like, I do more now that I live in that commitment to happiness, because it is a commitment. I live in that commitment to happiness, to peace, to joy. I make them my first priority before anything else. If something takes them away, I look at that and I say, okay, why is that taking it away? And I get curious and I say, okay, how can I come back to it? I make that my first priority. And I'm busier now than ever in my life, but it doesn't feel that way, right? It's such a different busy. It's a busy from a place of, oh my God, I have so much I want to share. How am I possibly going to share it? All right, we've got a question. Oh, yes, I'll be emailing you the replay video of this webinar. Ricky said that she has a friend that's interested, and I will absolutely be sending out the link to the replay so they can kind of get a little taste of who I am. Because if you don't resonate with me and what I have to say, then you don't want to sign up for a 6-week program with me, because you're going to get a lot of me. So yes, I absolutely will be sending out the link and all of that information. So you will have that. And again, you've got until February 22nd to see if it's something for you. If you have any questions, again, please, please, please feel free to email me and ask me about it. But I'm so excited about it. Oh, I've got like so much good stuff to share. And you can see, I hope that link worked for you guys. But you can see I put on there, limited philosophical fluff, because at the end of the day, like, there's only so much talking I can do. Then I just want to give you tools to go have your own direct experience, because any learning that I've ever really done has always been by being given a tool that I was then allowed to figure out how to use. And really, learning for myself, having that direct experience that, oh, I'm the teacher that I've been looking for. I have all the answers that I've been looking for. I am the person that I have been looking for. And for so long I heard that, and it was just like spiritual jargon that I was like, yeah, whatever. But eventually I was really able to have that experience. And so what I'm here to do is help you come back to that experience, right? That experience of knowing that you don't need to ask anybody else for their approval. You don't need to ask anybody else for the answers. You have them all. You really, truly do. And it's just a process of coming back to that space in yourself. Is there any other questions? If not, I'm glad that I answered all your questions. Oh my God. I know I was talking really, really fast. Just thinking back, I was talking really, really fast. I had so much to share. And like I said, I just touched the tip of the iceberg. Like, I have so much to share. And so I'm super excited for these 6 weeks starting March 8th to really dive in. But yeah, I am so grateful that you guys tuned in. Oh, you tuned into the peace party. Carrie said that earlier. Carrie I think she's still here. Yeah, it's peace party. We had a peace party tonight, guys. That's amazing. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I just want to close us out with a little bit of breathing and just, honoring what we just did, honoring coming here together in this space, coming here together and getting curious. Even, if you didn't really understand or resonate with some of the things that I shared, even if there was just one thing that was like, oh yeah, I could get behind that, like everything that I say might not be for you, but take that one thing that works and leave the rest, right? You don't need to believe everything that I say at all. And I will absolutely keep you guys updated on your book or on my book. So what I want you to do is just put both of your feet on the floor again. Place your hands down, face down in your lap, and close your eyes and just take a nice deep breath in, really feeling that breath root you into your chair, feeling your feet root into the earth. Exhaling all of that love, all of that light, all of that peace out into the world around you, allowing it to surround your apartment, your house, your city. Breathing in through your nose, rooting down into your chair, rooting down into the earth. Exhaling that light, that warmth, that peace, that love out into the world around you, knowing that you are always protected by that, knowing that you are always within that force field of love, always. Opening your eyes when you're ready. I thank you so much for joining me here tonight. I am so honored that you came. I would love to hear from you, love to hear what resonated with you, what didn't resonate with you. And like I said, I'll be sending out all the information, all the links and everything for the course. And the replay of this video. Please feel free to share it with anybody in your life that you feel might want to have the experience of peace, of deeper peace, of deeper understanding, of deeper forgiveness. Have all of that. Feel free to share it. And again, I would love to know about your experience, what really resonated with you, what you still have questions on, what you wish I would have talked about, what you wish I would have talked a little bit more about, given some examples on any of that. Anything is fair game. I would love to hear from you. So please respond to my email and let me know what's going on for you. And I will let you go enjoy the rest of your night, wherever it is you are at, or maybe you're watching this on replay. Go enjoy the rest of your morning, your day, wherever you are at. And again, I just love you and I thank you so much for being here tonight. You really are changing the world in a big way just by showing up for you. I love you, I honor you, and I thank you.